everybody, welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another Redmond Roundup. Now, according to reliable French journalists from Nice, Liverpool are going to submit a bid for Thuram, apparently. And apparently this is actually reliable news. What is reliable news until it's over the line? I mean, I saw Nabil Fekir's "Here We Goes" and then he weren't a Liverpool player. I saw him in the Liverpool kit and he weren't a Liverpool player. So you've always got to dispute these news and then you've got to analyse with your own logic and thought whether or not to believe it. I do think that I've said always, even though I prefer Kone, in fact, if I ranked all the midfielders, Kone, Vega, Thuram and all these players that we're linked with, Thuram's more towards the bottom of the list. Not that I don't want him at all, I just don't think he's the best out of all the options we could go and get. I do also believe that as the player himself, as I've watched more and analysed more because we've been linked with him for weeks, and again, from the first link, this is a deal that's pretty much going to get done. It's something that I'm pretty confident about. It's something that I heard whisperings about a couple of weeks ago, and then it's continued, and now it looks like Liverpool are finally going to get onto the part of agreeing terms with Nice, because in case you don't remember, the original story was personal terms are agreed between Liverpool and Thuram. However, the deal between Nice and Liverpool has not been agreed. So I assume Liverpool spoke to Thuram. Thuram was like, yes, I'll come to use, even though nothing's official. I'm just letting you know, I will come. And then even Kanate speaking about Thuram so specifically kind of gave a lot away. The people who were speaking about the stories, the credible people, the people who have got a lot of things right. And then, of course, fast forward to now, it's now about agreeing that fee with the club in the rumoured room of about 35 to 40 million euros. Now, that's euros, so if we're able to get that price, it's not a big amount of money. But again, I need to identify that. It doesn't matter if it's 20 million or 30 million. You'd like to think Thuram is going to come into the team, or let's say we buy two more midfielders. Both of them are going to at least try and make a proper statement to get into that first team, barring no injuries. That's what you'd like to hope. And then when I watch Thuram, and don't just take my words, I encourage you to go and watch him if you haven't. And don't just look at the best bits, try and look at the most detailed compilations where there's varied things. Dribbling, passing, not just his best goals and stuff like that. He seems to run into no man's lands at times. On top of this, his ball control isn't phenomenal. I do feel like he's one of those players which is kind of a toe tapper, where he just knocks the ball a bit too far in front of him. In comparison to his Patriot friend Kone, he's more technical, he's much better in terms of the all-round game, and I think he's actually just a higher level of Thuram. But Thuram is not a bad player, and I suppose he brings physicality, but there's a lot of players who have brought physicality, and it doesn't mean that they're just going to automatically add to your team in the short term. So I'm a little bit in two minds about it, but I do believe this is going to be one of the signings that are going to get made. I don't want anyone calling me negative. I did this with Nunes. I said I didn't want Nunes before we signed Nunes, and people were a bit like, James, you're our last. So I'm just letting you know pre-hand, remember this, if he joins and does bad, I've not got an agenda, I'm just saying I don't have a good feeling from get-go. If I don't, the first impression is the most important. Nunes never had a greater first impression. He scored 2 at Anfield, but I knew why he scored 2 at Anfield, it was because of the high line that we played. So Thuram has not made an amazing first impression. Okay, not amazing. He can be okay, but okay gets you in Europa League. If he's amazing, that could get us back in the title race, because we need that midfield to be amplified, we need it to be sharp, and we certainly don't need midfielders who, in my opinion, like Thuram, is technically inferior, giving the ball away. And that's the only thing that I worry about when it comes to Thuram. So it's not to be negative. If this was Kone, you'd hear a very different tune. It wouldn't just be negative about any signing. Even Gabri Veiga, I'm a big fan of Gabri Veiga, and I think that he'd be a sound addition. But if I could choose anybody out of all the options right now, of course, Barella and all these players, but we're not going to get them. Out of the realistic names that we could possibly go and get, Kone will probably be the top of my list, and I'd probably say after Kone, then you can start looking at Gabri Veiga, then Thuram and whoever have you. But for now, it looks like the Thuram's deal is going to get done. And then what I think that means is that we're not going to get Kone, so who's the other midfielder? And is it even someone that we've got on our ranks right now, or is it someone that we're going to go and get at the end of the window? Either way, we need to. We got rid of 3 crucial midfielders in Milner, Oxlade and Naby. 2 big signings, even though 2 of them never played, but combined Naby and Oxlade were 90 million, so they need to be replaced in terms of, the big stars they were supposed to be. And then Milner, we all know how important Milner was. So, yeah, 2 midfielders minimum. Let me know what you think about this news, if it is true. And then even touching on slightly different news, Thiago Alcantara. Now, the thing about Thiago Alcantara is everybody has been talking about his position at the club, whether he should stay, go, what's the score. Thiago Alcantara is in a position right now where, even him playing every couple of games is nothing but good. So, even though you might still have him in your midfield three, I don't think it's a situation where he's guaranteed to be a part of the first team plans going forward, but he will be used to be brought off the bench and to start in the odd game, which I think he'd be used very well, which is why we've got to make sure the two midfielders that we bring in are good, efficient signings that just simply don't go wrong. Anyway, from one club, talking about midfielders, to another, I want to talk about Mateo Kovacic. He's just joined Manchester City for £25 million plus 5 million add-ons. Also, you've got Mendy, Ziyech, Callum Hudson-Odoi is linked with the Saudi League. You've got all these Chelsea players leaving. And I'll tell you now, Todd Bowley is doing a terrific job behind the scenes of getting these deals over the line. And I get people will say that it's cheating. It's really not. He's just got good contacts that seem to him and them have a common interest. He needs players gone, they need players in. And I think Kovacic added to Manchester City's team and Arsenal. I think it's great. And I don't know what it means for the likes of Calvin Phillips there. But, I mean, just what an addition. Real Madrid superstar. You see the quality. You saw the goal he scored against us. I mean, the quality speaks for itself. And, you think about it, 25 million plus 5 million add-ons. Of course, with City coming in, we've got no chance. We can't compete with the wages they would have offered him. And but 25 million plus 5 million add-ons, it's a shame, even knowing that City, if they weren't going in for Kovacic, that's not a player that we'd look at. And that's where I'd look at Klopp there. I think people have got a point when they say that Klopp, he could have more of an influence on FSG leaning towards these type of players. But then if you get Kovacic and he turns out to be another Thiago, then you've just wasted another 30 million, which is why I always go back to the point. He's got to be wise with his budget. He can't buy a Kovacic for 30 million and then it goes wrong. You saw with Naby and Oxlade. He never saw Oxlade get injured 3 seasons in a row and replaced him because he's a big asset. We couldn't do it. The same with like Maguire in Man United. Except Maguire was 80 million and that's a big asset for United, so they needed to try and make it work. 40 million for us is a lot of money, so we need to make that work. 60 million for Keita was a lot of money, so we had to make that work. It weren't a case of just rushing and getting a new midfielder in, because no matter what the budget is with Klopp, no matter how much more you think he can do, it's not his budget. It's a certain sized budget, and because of this, why would you spend 30 million on a Kovacic, for instance, and then go ahead and take that 30 million out of your next transfer window when a big superstar could be available, a big superstar that you need to take this team forward? It becomes very, very complicated. So that's why, although I would have loved the addition of someone like Kovacic, and I can understand why people will blame Klopp for not identifying players like that, you have got to look at the other side of it as well. It might actually be more beneficial to get a younger player, build them up and then sell them on for more money. But that's the thing that the club's not doing either. We're terrible at selling assets. So we need to sort something out when it comes to our situation. Kovacic, I think, is going to go to Man City and just have a great time, win loads of trophies. I think he'll probably stay there till like 33, 34, do like a kind of Ilkay Gundogan role. And yeah, we'll see what goes down there. I'm interested to see what happens with Gundogan now, because Kovacic just joined. They've got Calvin Phillips, and yeah, they've got a stacked midfield. Just think about it. Manchester City's backup midfield is better than our first midfield. Better. It is. Who starts in there? So Gundogan, KDB and Rodri. Let's not even talk about that. Let's replace all them with the backups. Gundogan, Kovacic now, and even Calvin Phillips. Sorry, not Gundogan. He's in the first midfield. Kovacic, Calvin Phillips. And who else do you want to put in the midfield? Phil Foden or something? I don't know. Either way, their backup midfield three is better than ours. They've just got such a great team, but they get good business done. People don't give City enough credit for the business that they get done. Yes, they can offer hundreds of thousands a week, and yes, they can offer probably loads of other stuff outside of football. But, at the end of the day, they're not buying these players for extortionate prices. And I was yesterday years old when I found out Liverpool have a higher wage bill than Man City. Isn't that interesting? But again, we don't have things we can offer on paper that City can, so I'd be careful. Plus, a lot of things are undisclosed when it comes to City, as we all know as well. You know what I mean? Anyway, chat. I can't go through a whole video without dissing City. Yeah, we're going to go live tonight. I've got a little bit of I might have a little bit of an emergency. Basically, my laptop's doing this flat. I'll see. Let me see if I can show you actually. But this is going to be the craziest end to a Redmond roundup that you've ever saw in your life. Basically, my laptop is in a position where it's like Right, so here's the laptop, and it's sort of doing this flashing thing at the bottom. And if any of you knows what this could be, please do let me know. But I think it's done for. It's an old girl. She's been here for years and she's done a job. So I think she's on her last legs, to be honest with you, chat. And therefore, that's the laptop I use to stream shite. Therefore, I think I might not be able to stream. Or I can do it on my phone. It's not as good quality audio issue, but it's still clear. The audio won't be as good because I'll be using this. But we'll try and sort something. I'll try and sort that. That's really frustrated me, by the way. I just wanted to show you it in case if you're any technician nerds, message me on Twitter, Instagram, James Redmond 96 on Twitter and James Redmond 97 on Instagram. If you know what to do with that, guys. Much love to you and your mothers. Thank you for watching. Oh, do you know if you can smash a like, please do. And do you know if you don't like the video, I mean this with all my heart, smash a dislike, please do, and then let me know in the comments down below why you don't like the video, whether I'm too energetic or anything. Constructive criticism is always good to improve channels, mate. And yeah, appreciate it, guys. Much love, and I'll see you in a bit.